Alright, so first thing first, we're going to run the jet ski for about 5 minutes on water. So we've got our fresh water going through, got our connection, and then once we're done, we're going to take the water off, shut this down, then we're going to restart it, and we're going to use RV Antifreeze. Alright, so while this is running, putting some stable into the fuel. Alright, so now we're going to shut the water down, and we're going to blow a little bit of that out there. Always turn off the water before you shut down the engine. Alright, so now we got a gallon of RV antifreeze plumbed into the cooling system. We're going to restart the engine, and then we're going to turn this on. This is fancy. You can also do a gravity drain into your cooling, but mine is going to connect. I have a little pump in here, and that's going to connect to the battery. All right, next step, we're going to pop the dipstick out, and we're going to check the oil. Since we were able to run this, now we should be able to see proper oil level before we start. All right, so if you can see here, we are about halfway between full, just under full mark. All right, so to do the oil change, we're going to be taking this line off. And then we're going to be taking the dipstick out, and we're going to suck the oil out. Another fun fact is that Yamaha put the oil filter upside down on top of the engine. So there's no way to take that filter off without pouring oil all over the place. So in the manual, it tells you to take a nail and poke a hole right at the top. So you create a vent and then let it drain in a little bit. Don't use a drill bit because you don't want to put metal in, but you can use a nail, sharp object. Create a hole, creates a vent, and then you can take the filter off without getting a mess all over the place. All right, so this right here is the extraction hose. So I'm gonna take this clamp off right here, and then we're gonna pop the dipstick back out, and that's where we're gonna suck the oil out from. So with this hose disconnected, I'm gonna get my extractor out. So I always make sure I'm completely empty before I start to do this so that I can see exactly how much oil I get out of the machine. And you can see how this is going pretty slow. Good thing we warmed it up. It's pretty cold out today, but I just installed that right down inside. All right, so here's our hole in the top of the filter. I chose to go off to the side because I know that's where the pleats are. So I just use a regular nail, and see how that helps us out. So that trick worked really well for the oil filter, and then I went ahead and used my extractor to evacuate that area underneath of the filter. Now, I'm going to dose my filter with a little bit of oil, just so I have some oil in there. I know I'm going to lose some of it when I'm spinning this thing back on, but I'm going to put a little bit of oil in there and see if I can't just catch it and flip it over in there really quick. So I just added some oil to the inside of this, fix that up, and I'm going to wet the seal here with a little bit of oil too. You're good. Okay. So I'm adding oil to the extraction hose section. That's actually what they tell you in the manual. Put half your oil into that location and then put the other half into the dipstick. So I'm going to put like 3/4 of a quart in that side, about a quart, because that's about what I took out of there. And then I'm going to move this over to the dipstick location and add the rest of the oil there.
And
okay, so we've added oil into the system. I'm going to circulate this before I go after the spark plugs here. But just a tip. When you are armed for startup and you've got your stop button here and your start button over here, if you hit and hold start and stop at the exact same time, that kills fuel and kills ignition. So you can actually just circulate the engine. So you're not putting any gas into the injectors. Now I took about 3 quarts out, put 3 quarts in, and you can see I'm 3/4 up the dipstick. So at this stage, I am going to add about 1/4 of a bottle. I'm going to bring it up closer to full. All right, next we've got the oil. I did add about 1/2 quart to that to bring the level up. Now we're going to take the coil packs. We're going to disconnect these, pull the coil packs out, and we're going to take a peek at the spark plugs. I guess it was a good idea that I'm going after these coil packs because I've got loose bolts. They're hand tight. Check these other ones. Yep, that one's hand tight too. Okay. Probably didn't use Loctite. So you just get to these and you give them a little twist. Come off the spark plug. Set them down. And then we're going to take the spark plugs out. What's that? The coil pack?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the coil pack. So the engine's sending power to the spark plug through this. Uh-oh, Arlene is getting up on the ski because she wants to see what I'm doing here.
Okay, I see.
Yep.
Darn, you need an extender on that to get them out of there.
Yeah, I'll show you how to do it. Actually, when we break the spark plugs loose, when you go to try to do this yourself, you can actually put the coil pack in once they're loosened, and you can pick the spark plug out with the coil pack.
All right. Are they like the plug snaps into the end of that?
It's just rubber.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Just
it
rubber
kind of holds it. Okay.
Yep.
All right. It's like the rubber cap on a regular spark plug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a rubber boot.
Yeah.
So you asked how I get the spark plugs out, and we said we could use the coil pack, but I also happen to use a spark plug socket. And the difference is that a spark plug socket actually has a rubber hose inside, so that when we go to grab this out of there, it holds it.
Okay.
So you can use either.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna spray fogging compound. I'm not gonna show you what I'm using because all the Yamaha folks are gonna be haters, but there it is. Sea-Doo fogging compound. Does work, it works great, that's what we're fogging with. So we're just gonna spray this liberally into the spark plug holes. You know, got the spark plugs out, we're gonna spray this on top of the pistons, and then we're gonna go back over here and we're gonna rotate the engine. We're gonna hold the stop and the start, and we're gonna rotate this for about 3 seconds, and that's gonna mix all that up, get it up on the valves. We're gonna give it one last shot, and then we're sealed for the winter. All right, notice I'm holding this plastic tube. You do not want to drop that down into the piston. It'll ruin your day. So I'm holding the tube, spraying this in here. About that long, and then I've already done cylinder 3, so we're gonna go over here to cylinder 1, do the same thing. All right, and now we're gonna cycle the engine. And I'm gonna put a rag.
Is that gonna shoot out? That's what I was gonna ask you, if it's gonna shoot out of there.
This is what I do. So I just cover it, and then I'll put a little something on top. My torque wrench works perfect. And then we're gonna hold the stop, we're gonna hold the start. And voila. And then I'm gonna spray back in there just a little bit. Don't have to do this, it's just what I do. Make sure I got a little coating on top of those pistons. Okay, so I actually use anti-seize on the spark plugs, on the threads, before I put those back in. So I did check the gap. I gap checked these. You know, the gap is supposed to be 28 thousandths to 31 thousandths. I am actually able to do all this with the cover installed, but for a lot of folks, it'll make it easier if you just take all this off. So 115 inch-pounds. Torque. Pop it all out, whatever. You want to jump in here and do it? Want me to film you? Tighten?
No, you go right ahead.
Huh?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you can also do these, put them in until they're tight, and then thread them in. Take about a quarter turn from hand tight, which works. I'm just
doing it the correct way.
Both actually work. This isn't a lot of what you don't want to do is you don't want to gronk these in here tight.
Yeah.
Because on Sea-Doo, on jet skis, a lot of times you're doing this as a winter PM. You know, just to make sure you're good out there in the water. So you're taking your spark plugs in and out often. It's not a bad thing because it makes them easier to get out, but you want to make sure you don't tighten too much, otherwise you'll damage the threads. So next thing we do is we're going to put dielectric grease inside of here, and we're going to coat our connections with grease so that we don't get any water into our connections. That'll keep everything nice and clean for next season. Here's our dielectric grease. A little bit in there. A little bit in there. And we just slide these down in here. Give a little twist. Plug them in. I'll go down the line, do the same thing. All right, so for our coil pack screws, these are 10 millimeter sockets, and it's also 10 foot-pounds of torque. We are going to torque these, and we're also going to use blue Loctite. This is removable strength. It's a good idea so that parts don't loosen up. These things do vibrate quite a bit. So I'm going to put a little Loctite on each screw, and we're going to torque these down to 10 foot-pounds, which is 120 inch-pounds. Okay, we are winterized. We got the coil packs back on. Got dielectric grease on all the connections. We have new spark plugs, changed the oil, new filter, and last thing we got to do is, let's not forget, right? We have to take a peek in here and do an inspection for next season. We got to look at our clamps, look at our hoses, and then we're going to do a little cleaning on the surface. I'm going to spray CRC 656 on everything, and that's going to keep this nice for next year.